Thoughts?
I believe it should have been restrapped. I talked to Rick Pickney, who's probably the most credible ref on earth, in my opinion, and I asked his opinion, and he thought it was a complete shit show, and refing wise, and he believed it should have been restrapped. He believed the strap wasn't put on in the right properly in the first place. That was Rick's opinion. Again,
Well, one thing I noticed with the way they do the more fair strap,
mm-hmm.
leaves it open for that kind of movement.
Yeah.
Underneath.
Yeah.
So I agree with you. They should have stopped it and restrapped it before it got to that point. But, I mean, according to WAL rules as they're written, the match was still going. There was still contact between Jerry's fingers and Michael's hand. Even if it was minuscule, it was still there. So Bart was within the rules to let the match continue. Anyway, continue what your thought was.
I kind of disagree with you that he was willing to break his own arm. First of all, he's pronating off Jerry from Jerry's initial surge. He pronates, so he avoids when you pronate off of you're avoiding the surge of their arm. So there's not much tension there. And then to the point where he's underneath Jerry and Jerry's trying to pin. Jerry's at 20%, 30% of his strength, and there's absolutely no danger to his arm. After the 1 minute marker, I mean, come on, there's not much tension there. You're all going into stamina and lactic acid and stuff like that. So I don't believe any of that stuff. Just to sum it up quickly, it looked like Rebecca was on the verge of crying, but it was actually Mike that cried his way to a title match, to the hammer.
You're jumping ahead of me. Listen, I mean, I've talked to a few people about this. What you think about Michael's antics following the match, he wasn't wrong. He wasn't wrong. The rule is if you were to intentionally foul and then not make an effort to get your elbow back on the pad, you have a certain time period to do that, and then you forfeit the match. Jerry went for an intentional, you can call it a professional foul, you can call it whatever you want, but Jerry took a big risk. He was already on a running foul, and he lifted his elbow and made no effort to put it back down. It was different from the previous match because Michael didn't follow him. It was only Jerry fouling. And the rules stated, and I'm told that even if Michael didn't react the way he did, the outcome would have been the same. But within the rules and with reviewing the tape, he wasn't wrong. And I rewatched when Michael was saying Chafee versus Devin was the same kind of thing. I rewatched that match, and he was right.
He's not wrong. He's right.
Yeah.
The outcome was correct. They got it right. His antics, the way he reacted, wanting to leave with his hammer, man, he won. He deserves the hammer. But there's no class. There's no, I don't know what it is. There's no class. Well, I did not like it. For me, I don't know. That's not a champion, in my opinion. That's not.
Well, I think Michael is going to have his own regrets maybe on what happened there, but it's Michael's a friend, and I want to support the guy, and I want to focus on the positives. And I think those two guys deserve a ton of respect each. I think they both fought extremely hard. If there is a positive to take away from this, we're for sure going to see a trilogy.
Yeah. Take this into consideration. When there was a hesitation and they're getting together and they're trying to find deal with the protest. I believe it was Michael's protest. Michael's going off. He's trying to convince everyone. He's walking around. And Jerry's sitting.
Well, he's also getting booed by the crowd. So, yeah. I mean, that has to be
justifiably so. Jerry just sits there. Imagine if Jerry decided to be as vocal. It would have been a complete and utter shit show. Maybe even like a pushing contest, or it would have been chaotic. But Jerry didn't do that. Jerry was not happy, but he dealt with it and expressed himself calmly afterwards and accepted the outcome. But yeah. Come on, man.
But I mean, this it's a catch-22, right? Like I thought back to when I was in Moldova, and there was the match with me where I got the mysterious foul in the final. And the one thing I remember about that isn't the foul itself. It was what Travis said to me after. He said, if that were me, I'd be in a Moldovan prison right now, telling me how he would have reacted and the type of protest he would have put up. WAL is not just arm wrestling, it's a show.
Yeah.
Now, I don't think that if they wanted it to not be like that, they would institute some kind of rules that the referee could control that kind of thing. Mm-hmm. Because, I mean, I talked with someone else about this, and I said, what do we remember about Khabib versus Conor McGregor? I don't remember any of that fight, but I sure as hell remember Khabib jumping out of the cage and kicking somebody in the face in Conor's corner. And that was the story that hit every major news outlet around the world. Now, I'm not saying that what Michael did was a good thing, but because it wasn't. But I do believe that it's a handmade, served up on a silver platter story going forward to the trilogy. Because here you have there's two camps here. Some would believe that the match wouldn't have been any different. I think that if Jerry would have got the restart, he might have won that match, and I think he probably had a good chance of winning it.
I believe in the final match, Jerry made one surge that was a pin. I believe. I mean, of course, I'm nowhere close to where Bart is, but for me, my optics based on what I've seen pins are, that was a pin. I've seen 400,000 pins in my life from both sides that looked like a pin. I'm not saying there's a conspiracy. I'm just saying you're right in the fact that it could have gone both ways. Both were right on right on the verge of winning that. Mike deserved to win it, and he won it. And I agree that the antics and all that stuff is great for WAL. Like he said, 80 million people watching. I mean, it's great. They wanted the WWE atmosphere. They want the tension. They want all that bullshit. I personally am not a big fan of the acting, the staging. But is it great for the sport within the confines of WAL? It is, absolutely.
Yeah, Michael's a passionate guy, and I don't believe that was acting. I think he was really genuinely fired up.
No. There was no acting there. There's no acting. I don't mean him specifically. I'm going back to other stages.
Right. Yeah, I hear you. Corey West makes a good point here, and I heard this too. I heard this during the broadcast. Was it sportsmanlike to lift your elbow? Well, the answer is no. It's not. You're trying to get a restart. You're trying to get out. You could look at it any way you want. Mike was in the right. Not to mention all those endorphins going through your. Of course, we got all this. Oh no, I'm skipping ahead. Corey commented and John Anthony commented, and I'm reading both. So there was a comment made by Bart during the match. He said, "It can't end like that. It can't end like that." And this was when there was fouls happening. So Bart did make that comment. I heard him say it. I don't remember at what point in the match it was, but if they would have given Jerry a restart in such a situation where clearly the rules were broken.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Maybe I can see what Corey's trying to say. Yeah. That Michael probably felt like he was cornered in there too, and especially if he's talking about the tingling coming back, the sensation coming back in his hand that he had the first time they pulled. Maybe that was it. Maybe Michael had nothing left in him, and that was I did talk to Michael the next morning. Man, I think there's some things that need to be fixed in WAL, and I'm trying to be politically correct here, but I do think that there's a real case for a trilogy. Politically correct maybe isn't the right choice of words there. I'm trying to be nice, and hey, Mike's the champ, and Jerry seems to have the worst style for him, and he the worst style for Jerry, and those guys are going to arm wrestle for another 25 minutes in the near future.
Mike should have been livid. Mike should have been livid. I've been on the bad end of what I thought was a ref's call and to lose a match, and I lost my shit. I was livid, like Mike was livid. Mike had a lot more to lose. I don't mind him being upset. I don't mind him being vocal. It's the let me take my hammer and go home. I refuse to listen to what they're saying. I'm just going to leave. That was childish. Just that's the best word for it. It's childish. He deserved to win. He won. And also, everyone wanted to see the match end with a pin. But you also can't say as a ref, listen, Jerry fouled out, but I know that's not good, so let's just restart it. You can't do that because that's not fair to Michael. It's not fair to the integrity of the sport. So even though we all wanted to see a pin, I mean, the reason we have fouls and people foul out is because we have rules. And we can't say, well, the match is so big, we can't have a foul. You can't have a foul, and you might have a foul, and you might have someone fouling out. It's the nature of the sport. It's unfortunate, but for that part, they got it right. I just didn't love I'm going to take my hammer and go home.
Yeah, I do understand, though, why he might have been so worked up. Because history has shown us that in a situation like that, there might have been an arbitrary decision to not let that match stop and to do that restart, just so it didn't end that way. Mm. So based on that fear that has to be in the back of your mind when you're going into that match, I think that Michael felt like he had to be over the top. And I'm just reading Corey's comment here. Yeah, it's got to be in the back of your mind. And, they tell you to be the biggest you can be. Man, Michael hit the ball out of the park on that one.
Oh, yeah. And I mean, he says he's hated, and he is hated, but he's polarized. And that's exactly what the league wants. They don't want everyone to be likable. And so he created on his own, or they both created some type of villain, but he's polarizing, and he is what people will come back and watch. It all worked out for WAL. It's moving in the right direction. Everything went as it should have. It seems like, and this says a lot. This says a lot about WAL, but it seems like every card we have some conspiracy or something incredibly dramatic to talk about, and that's what they want, and that's what the sport needs. So everyone was talking about that match the following day on Facebook, among other matches, and that's what the sport needs, right? It needs that reverberation of drama and chatter, and so it was a huge success. The whole, in general, it was a success. I'm just reading Avi's question. Avi, I would definitely restrap them. That strap was too loose. I'd stop the match and restrap them.
So your thought is that they should have been restrapped?
Absolutely, I would have restrapped them for sure. Absolutely.
Now, that was my immediate thought. But having reviewed the rules and the way that the rules in WAL are written, according to that rule set, that strap stays the way it was.
That's fine. And
I think they need to fix it now, but you can't fix something when the match is going.
No. They need
right? You can't change that rule. It's in place. You got to stick to the rule set that you have. And
they need to fix a lot of things, but it was a big success, that's for sure.
And the WAL strap, let's face it, the WAL strap sucks.
Oh, yeah.
I'm just reading Evan's comment here. Yeah. And then there was thoughts on Michael Todd calling out Devin for telling Jerry to lift his elbow. That didn't seem like Jerry to do that. So John Anthony, I don't recall hearing that, but if that's true, Devin probably owes Jerry a few $1,000.
What's with Jody Larat? I mean, it's like she wants the attention of a 7-year-old on Ritalin. It's like, holy fuck, man. You're not even pulling and you're all over the fucking place yelling. Shut the fuck up.
I don't want to comment too much, but I did notice that I saw Devin in Jerry's corner and Jody in Michael's, which was confusing.
Jody doesn't care. Jody just wants to get her face and her voice heard on screen. That's all she wants.
Let's go to questions, buddy. You ready?
Yeah.
Are we done our WAL wrap-up?
Sure.
Other than some final thoughts, I think that it's great that we had a left-handed match, and they're already throwing it out there on their social media. Do we want Wagner back next season? I think the answer that people are saying is yes, we absolutely want to see Wagner. Matt Mask's name was thrown in there, but honestly, I think Wagner is going to eat up Matt Mask in a left-handed super match. I might be wrong.
I don't agree. I don't agree.
Okay. And then my name was thrown in there too. And I was the guy that called Wagner out long before he even signed up with Devin. So hopefully I get that consideration if they continue with the left-handed match.
Fingers crossed, buddy.
You were going to call me baby, weren't you?
Close, fuck.
As we go. All right, questions. Joel Cagle. If you were to build the most dominant arm wrestler possible, what would they be like? The idea is that each important arm wrestling body part would be chosen from the best possible arm wrestler. The rule is that an arm wrestler can't contribute more than one body part to your hypothetical arm wrestler. Body parts include right and left fingers, right and left thumbs, right and left hands, right and left wrists, right and left forearms, right and left biceps and triceps. Also, the height, weight, and technical and arm wrestling awareness will be taken into consideration as well. Thank you for your show and your time. Thoughts on this question?
I'm going to break his rules. It's Todd Hutchins' mind, arm, and testicles with John Brzezink's hand. There you go.
I can't go down the path. The question has me, there's too many options. Like it's sitting there with Lego that doesn't quite fit together.
Yeah. The table's built for a 6 foot, 5'11" to 6'1". So you'd have to look at a guy 6'6", RVJ type template with a little bit more aggression, a different mind in the body of RVJ with a better elbow, a little bit more tenacity. But you're looking at something like that. It's hard not to go with John Brzezink's hand, arm. When you're looking at joint, elbow, bicep, probably Todd Hutchins. Shoulder of Jerry's shoulder.
Like you do it with moves, like you put a combination of Todd Hutchins, Jerry Carteret, and John Brzezink together, and it's an unbeatable arm wrestler.
There you go. Yes, there you go.
Hand and wrist of John, press of Jerry, side pressure of Todd, unbeatable.
Pretty much.
Yeah. Ty Kistner, old buddy Ty, the suntan Superman. If you had a gun to your head and needed to choose an active right-handed arm wrestler to win a best-of-7 super match to save your life, who is your pick and why?
Fuck. You go ahead.
Man, that's a tough question. Like, I could say Michael Todd, but I mean, I think Michael's going to fight hard to save my life. But, I can't say Devin Laird because or you can't say Devin because I think he might just let his arm go down. You know what I'm saying?
So the question is, I'm looking for
your question is, you have a gun to your head.
Yeah.
And you have to pick an arm wrestler right-handed to save your life in a best-of-7 super match. Who would you pick? I got to go with a guy that, and it has to be an active guy. So, Saplenkov's out. If it was everyone in history, you could say Andrei Pushkar. I can't say Levon with confidence.
I go with Vitaly.
You know what? Maybe. But I might still go with Michael Todd. As long as he's not pulling Jerry.
Oh, man.
I don't know.
I think I'd rather drown. Give me Vitaly.
Okay. Dominic G. So we know that a good heavyweight like Devin will easily beat a very strong human like the Mountain or Shaq at arm wrestling. But what if a great lightweight like Mindaugas or Sam Harris faces some giant like Brian Shaw or Eddie Hall? What would be the outcome? And what about Chris? Does he feel like he would beat one of those giants?
It doesn't really. Yes, of course they beat him. I'm not a tier 5, so I'm not. You put me against the strongest man on earth, and my style is, I'm going their way. I'm letting their shoulder get behind their arm. I'm letting a strong guy get into his strength and coming through him. So I'm not the best example. But if you take even like Engin Terzi, where a really good Sam Harris would be a good example. Because of it, you need a lightweight with a strong hand and wrist to keep the big guy kind of out of his wheelhouse. So a level 5 or a tier 5 lightweight who's hand heavy, absolutely, it's the same thing.
I agree. It's 100% the same thing. You take a guy like Larry Wheels, who is super strong and starting to arm wrestle a little bit, but he's exceptionally strong, and he's been beaten recently by lighter arm wrestlers.
Mm-hmm.